Okay, now we are live.
Yep, there you go. We're live now. Yeah, I
We
went to
will.
check and see if we're on, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't even see if it's live yet.
Well, oh, I hate it when stuff don't come together like we supposed to. So, shift kicker Z-Man back up. He back on.
Eh,
I'm gonna shoot this computer. It waits till my screen now. Okay, I'm gonna try this again.
what are you gonna
Welcome.
try? Oh,
I have no idea yet. We're live. Hello, everyone in chat again. We're going to wing it a little bit today. We're going to talk about the world economy, the bullshit, and all that other stuff. Okay.
well, there's a lot of bullshit
You got that right.
everywhere
I
you
mean,
step.
what, this week we done had two more plant fires, one in Oregon and the other in Illinois.
Yep. Yeah, if you don't have your flour, you better get it now.
Yeah.
Although they are getting some grain out of Ukraine now. So, but where is it going? it's not. It's not going here. I'll put it that way. It's going.
How
It's
much
at the
grain?
moment. It's going to Turkey.
How much grain is coming out of the ports, to your knowledge?
I think it's 4 ships right now. Until they do something dumb like try to bring in weapons, and then they'll shut it back down again, which that they should. I mean, that's part of being in a war. I mean, we're lucky they're letting them get grain out. I'll put it that way. Who else do you know? What other country would let the country they're fighting against ship stuff out?
How many guesses do I get? uh, wouldn't the red country be shipping out?
Oh, they already have been.
Okay, okay. So is the sea country and the red country that is, let's say, number one in grain export right now?
Um, well, right now, yeah. Well, it depends what grain we're talking about too.
Mm.
Wheat, it's Russian, Ukraine. Um, Corn is surprisingly it's China.
Corn for
Yep,
China?
yep.
I could have sworn then we had, well, we may have had, but we,
We use our corn for ethanol.
well, what, if we use our corn for ethanol, why in the hell do we have a shortage on gas?
We don't.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
Well, not right now, I would say, but there soon might be. There, um, where was it? They're shutting down a lot of the deep well ones, or the deep in the Gulf of Mexico, deep water platforms.
Okay, offshore drilling.
Yeah, evidently they a bunch of them sprung a leak at the same time.
Eh, Sorry about that. The wife brought me something to eat within a minute before I went live, and she told me I was going to eat it. So therefore, I'm not back talking to wife much today.
Much.
Mm-hmm. That couch gets a little bit uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, it might do that a little bit.
Oh, wait a minute, that ain't it. But you know, it used to be if I want a good night's sleep, I will tick my wife off just so I could sleep on the couch. It don't work like that no more.
Couch got worn out.
Now we got a brand new one, and I just ain't got it wore in yet.
Oh, okay.
You can still feel the springs in it when you sit down.
Might be seeing a pinch on the shelves here shortly. There's a lot of truck drivers going on strike right now. Baltimore truckers are blocking the entrance to the ports because they're just not getting the money. They're talking about same thing in New Jersey. Also might be coming to Savannah also. If that's the case, then we're going to have both sides shutting it down.
Well, now, hello, Bluegrass sweetheart. How are you doing this afternoon, lady? I'm going to plug your channel before we go off the air today. Well, now, last night on 101, I had mentioned $8 General that I went to yesterday. Said they had a truck that came in, I think it was yesterday or day before, and they shorted them 9 carts. And a cart for them is like about 3 foot wide, 7 foot high, and probably about
a skid, you mean?
No, not a skid. These are on wheels. They're metal.
Oh.
You know, they put the food in, and I mean, they stack it up. You know, and when I was up there, I noticed there was quite a few bare spots on the shelves. Now, I had to go back up there today, and there was another truck in up there, and I didn't really get to talk to nobody because they were busy.
Yeah, remember? Let me see how long this was. I did a video on this because my Dollar General didn't have anything on their shelves.
Right.
That
was what, about 4 months ago, wasn't it?
Oh no, it was June 27th is when I did a video on that they're running out of food. And I went back in, and they're getting like one truck a day, and a lot of times
a day or a week.
Or a week.
Okay.
They're getting one truck a week, and that's not all food. That's with the other junk that they sell there.
Yeah.
So
you know,
that's not a lot because they usually get 3 to 10 a week when things were running good.
We got now. I was at a high volume store. For a high volume store, that was over $10,000 a day, $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
But we wasn't getting in but 1 truck a week. And that was what, 8 9 years ago. Now, since then, since I got out of retail, I'm really not sure what they get in a week, but I'm wanting to say one, maybe two a week. But still, we was supposed to have everything set out on the floor within 3 days. That when they won't give you the money to bring people in to help do it, that's impossible.
Yeah, and then you got to run the front of the store too.
Exactly. I mean, you got 2, 3 tops if you lucky people in there the whole time they're open.
Yeah, they only have 2 on ours.
Really?
Yeah, and most of the time it's just the one person has to run all the way back and hurry to the cash register and then run back and put stuff away.
Exactly. I mean, the people who works retail, they getting their tail chewed out because they ain't getting it done, and on top of that, they won't give them the money to hire extra people to help them. So I mean, when you're fed up, what can you do? The only thing I can say is, you got a job now. Do your best to hang on to it because we are as good as we're going to get right now. Next week, it's going to be a little bit worse. Week after that, it's going to be worse than the week before that. It's just going to get worse.
Yeah, I got a thing that I used to go with pretty much. It's a groceries association. It's for like grocery stores and whatnot, chains.
Right.
And they've already posted that they're struggling to keep stock up. And might be closing. Well, they will be closing 1,000 stores.
Mm. Well, now I know.
Which you think about it, 1,000 is not that much because they have them in like every town. Some big cities they have them like every 2 miles away.
Well, now I've noticed wherever you see a Dollar General store within the same block or a block away from one another, you'll see a Family Dollar store. And now it seems like wherever there is a dollar store, Dollar Tree is right there beside Walmart.
Yep.
So, hey, I got to show y'all something. That right there, that's half of the squash that came out of my garden. That's a garden grown squash. And it's not hard, like you would see one that size. Wife needed 2 cups of squash to make a squash casserole. She had about 3 cups. That's what's left over. Damn, it's good too. But I mean, I got squash coming out of my garden like that. I wish my cucumbers took off, but I got maybe 3 or 4. That's it. My tomatoes, they are not producing now. They gone. I didn't get half, not even half of what I thought I would get. Now I got watermelons coming up. Hell, it may be a cucamelon. Who knows? But you know, hey, you do what you got to do. I just wish I had a bigger space for a garden. I wanted zucchini. I wanted corn. But every time I went to the store to try to find seeds, they done sold out. You couldn't find them.
Yeah, you got to buy your seeds in the winter.
Well, Walmart and places like that does not put seeds out like that in the wintertime.
Don't get them at Walmart.
Well, I know that, but I mean, you know, it's just an example, I guess.
Yeah, Walmart, the brand of seeds that they have are not very good. The germination rate of them are probably maybe 50 to 60%, if that.
Well, now I'm going to use Walmart as an example on this. Let's say you go get a bunch of, for example, squash, zucchini, and stuff like that. And a lot of people will take their seeds and dry them out and use them for next harvest. Can you do that with Walmart seeds, or can you spray the chemical on it?
It's hard to say. That's the thing.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you I'll go ahead and post it in chat because it's a good place. They have certain days that they open the store, or basically, so you can buy. Let me put the link. We get the name of it real quick. And their prices did go up.
Well, of course.
But it's 75 cents a pack.
What, for seeds?
Yeah.
For where I'm at, that's cheap.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and post it if anybody wants to. A lot of times they sell out of their stuff, and they're all good seeds. The germination rate is really good, and like I said, they only have certain days that they open up.
Okay.
Another place I get my seeds from is Haas Tools.
Well, now I know. Go ahead.
But
I know online on some of these here sites, you can go in and get certain seeds. You know, it's like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I cannot think of the name of the seeds, but they're guaranteed to grow.
Yeah, survival seeds. No.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, everybody that I've seen that's bought these big, it's got 2,000 seeds or
right
2,000 plants or whatever. They go to plant them and they don't get nothing out of it.
Really?
Yeah. And it could be the way they package them. It could be they go through metal detectors and radar machines and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. There's only a few places that I'll get, unless it's something like squash or zucchini or something. I'll get it from a Dollar Tree or something like that. And it's like, I'll plant 8 seeds and starter seeds. And if I only get 3, then I do another 3 or 4 until I get enough to where what I'm planting.
Right. Well, now what I try to do is this right here. And this is before I put them in my garden. I'll get, like you said, little cups, and buy the topsoil or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'll plant them, and I'll keep them watered. I'll put a like plastic over them, and set them out in the sun. And then when they start sprouting, I'll take the plastic off of them, but
Yeah.
still keep them watered.
Yeah.
And when they get a certain height, then that's when I start putting them in the ground. So
Yeah.
therefore, I know for a fact how many went in and how many I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Just because they start growing out of these here little tubs, when you transplant them, don't necessarily mean they're going to take off.
Oh, yeah.
I found that out. It's like, for an example, squash. You want 4 or 5 plants. You better plant about 10 or 11 because all of them is not coming up. But if they do, think about all the good canning you can do.
Well, that's the thing. If you get a pack of seeds that has 50 seeds in there, and if you only really want to plant 6 tomato plants, but I always plant extra because stuff happens when it could be a frost, it could be a heat wave, and then you lose them. You got that backup in the house to plop them in the ground. And if you don't use them, it's you can put them in a pot or something, or just toss them in the compost bin.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. But now down here, oh God, I couldn't even tell you what month is our last frost. And normally, I also go by the Farmer's Almanac, like that. And as far as getting them in the ground after the last frost, I've had no problems with that. It's just trying to get everything harvested before our first frost.
Yeah, I don't follow any of that stuff because I don't know. I do the finger test. I stick my finger in the dirt, and if it's warm enough to where I think it's going to be, if I stick my finger in there and it's really hard and cold, then there's no need putting my plants in the ground.
Okay. Well, now I've noticed when people go to till up their garden, they'll go something like about a couple of inches deep. Me, I'm sorry, when I till that garden, I'm about 2 foot deep.
Yeah, it depends what you're growing too. Like if it's certain roots don't go out as much or don't go deep.
You're right.
And it depends on the weather. If it and this is just in the ground. That's not raised beds or anything.
No,
If it's going to be a hot summer, you're going to want to till deeper because the roots are going to go deeper in the ground for that water.
Correct.
And if if a roots struggle to get down there, that means your plant's struggling.
Well, in my mind, I've got an idea of what I'm already going to plant before the season rolls around.
Yeah.
And depending on how much room I've got left, is like hurry up and do it, So really, I don't know exactly what half of my garden is going to be. That's the reason I'll go ahead and I'll till it deep, because if the roots don't have no struggle, then the chances are they will survive.
Oh yeah.
And Brooke Home Sweet Home just said something which Pinball did a while back ago. Let me get it back up. How about we start like a seed trading, for next year? But, well,
uh,
why not?
because you get a big box of seeds, it's going to cost $20 to $40
No,
to ship at places.
no,
Yeah,
wait a
it
minute.
does. I, I
Well,
I was just in one of those, and I got the box and put my seeds in it and went to go send it out, and it was $38.
oh shit.
Yep, shipping is not like it used to be.
Well, see, what
And
I was thinking was like this right here. Let's say we've got 10 people, we got 34 people in here now. Okay. And I'm sure not everybody is doing gardening or whatever. But let's say I put 3 packs of seeds in there, you put 3 packs of seeds in there. And if there's something in there that you won't take a pack out, but put another pack in, keep it
yeah,
going. Now, that's what pinball did. And I thought at the time that was a good idea.
yeah, it is if the shipping wasn't so dang much, because it at first it's fine because you start off with a little box, but eventually people start piling seeds in there, and the weight goes up, and then we got to make a bigger box, and then pretty soon, like it ended up on mine, and I took out uh not packs, I took out seeds
Okay.
and ended up sending out, and it was and there was money. People put money in there for if somebody was hurting with money, but yeah, there was like $6 in there, and I was like, it wouldn't wouldn't be worth me taking any money out. So I went up, and sure enough, it was $38 to send it to the next person, 2 states away.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, if it costs you that much for 2 states away, in my mind, I guess that got shot down quick.
I don't know the next person down the line if they and that's the thing. Sometimes the person just doesn't send it back out, and then all those seeds are not
Gone.
getting shared.
Because I'm thinking it was wait a minute, let me pull the name back up.
Yeah, the seed companies are raising their shipping because it just costs more now. And you
Mm,
wouldn't think a pack of seeds would, and it makes more sense because like that the link I shared, not hostels, but the other one, they charge a flat rate, so you want to buy all the seeds at one time, not just a couple here or there, because
okay.
it's cheaper that way on shipping.
Well, now I reckon Blue Brooke is the one that brought it to my attention because she said she couldn't find yellow squash or purple tomatoes. You know,
Yeah, Hostel has purple Cherokee tomatoes and
purple
cucumbers.
Cherokee tomatoes also is got a low acid in it. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, purple, yeah, I don't know if it's less acid. I know the yellow ones have hardly any acid. The the pineapple ones that I just planted, or
Right.
they're so good. And
You
I'm
know,
supposed to try to stay away from bread and stuff because uh trying to get my cholesterol and all that stuff down. And I want a cherry or I want tomato sandwiches so bad. Because I got this giant tomato, and I mean it was
you,
great. One slice covers a whole, and it sticks off the end of it. I've had 4 sandwiches so far of tomato sandwiches off this one tomato, and
mm.
I'm talking thick slices. It was it was a doozy, 2.4 pounds.
Darn. Hello, Chicken Grandma. How are you doing this afternoon? Dana, Shift. You know, I forgot we hadn't gone through and said hello. But I had some Cherokee tomatoes. Matter of fact, I planted 15 plants, and I think 4 or 5 took off like he's supposed to. Out of that one, I kept my eye on. It had a green tomato on there. That thing was about as big as my whole hand. I was waiting for it to turn red and everything, because as soon as it started turning, I was picking it, going to put it in the window and let it finish. Well,
there's still $3.99 too.
Well,
when I planted,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when I planted these last year, because I grow them in the house about 3 weeks to a month before I get them outside, and 100% germination on these Cherokee tomatoes.
Dana, I'm not the one to answer that question. They don't last long enough in my house.
Certain seeds you can, and certain seeds you don't. Some seeds you actually freeze before you plant them too.
You freeze, or you put them in a refrigerator?
No, you freeze them.
Okay. What about jalapeno peppers? The seeds from them, do they get frozen?
No, I just keep them in regular room temperature and stuff. Just make sure they're dry and all.
Okay. Because I put, oh God, I reckon about 200 in the refrigerator of the regular jalapenos, and I put about 150 of the sweet jalapenos in there also.
Yeah, I only did 6 plants this year for jalapenos. Last year I did a bunch of cayenne peppers.
Now, my brother, he has grown jalapenos and cayennes, and it was a couple more that he grew. And it seems like to me, he said the cayenne and the other ones are about the hardest ones he's ever grown.
Oh, they grow. There's so many of them. I had, I actually left some on a dang plant until it froze.
Really?
Because I dry them out and then I grind them down for cayenne pepper.
Okay.
And I filled up mason jars full of powder.
Well, now I dehydrated pretty good sized onions. You know, they wasn't the yellow onions. I mean, these things were good size. And I cut 2 of them up. Hello, Monty. And put them on my dehydrator. And I made onion powder out of them.
Yep.
And I've also took green apples, the peelings, dehydrated them, and made powder out of that, because that's what I'm going to use for pectin.
Yep.
Like that right there. You know, it's just dehydrating is good, but it takes time. You know, it ain't like going in there and canning a whole session of, let's say, okra or squash or something like that. It's going to take hours to dehydrate.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this company keeps sending me stuff. And the company has a really nice dehydrator. I'm saying I'll do a review on this dehydrator, and they said, "Well, we want to send you this," and then like, okay,
Brooke, if you do get a dehydrator, make sure it has a built-in fan on it. The very first,
they all do.
the very first one I bought did not have a built-in fan on it.
How does it work then?
The heat just rises up.
Oh,
That's
wow,
it.
that kind of sucks.
Tell me about it. It took me longer to dehydrate in that one than it did for the one I have now. What Life, I'm right there with you. He does jerky in his.
Yeah.
Me, I done about 3 sessions of beef jerky with mine. And each go round, I don't know what it is. I reckon it's like built-in radar or whatever, but the kids come in and guess what? I didn't have none left when they left. But if you're going to dehydrate, use meat that does not have fat in it. The least amount of fat that you get is better off, it'll last longer. And we got trouble.
Bigfoot, I don't
No,
know.
Monty.
I know that's not Bigfoot. I'm talking to Bigfoot on because he asked a question. These pineapple ones, they're not slimy or anything. They're juicy, really, really juicy.
Where did you say you got those tomatoes from?
I think it was Haas Tools.
All right, because next year I'm going to try to locate me some if I can remember the name of them. And Lisa Anderson, you are 100% correct about the German Johnsons. And the reason you can't can them is because there is a whole lot of juice in there. What? You're muted.
Never heard of the German Johnsons.
You ain't.
I've heard of.
Yeah, they have a couple names though too.
I've heard of Big Boys beefsteaks and
They get bigger than a beefsteak.
Beefsteak's got a lot of acid.
Yeah.
They used to get.
That's what I was surprised with these because they didn't show that they got that big. They were like normal sized tomatoes, and I've got really big tomatoes out there still growing. Although they're squished, they're still growing. Unlike the other ones that were under my leaves of that tree that fell.
Well, now with a German Johnson, you can pick a couple of about 2 good sized ones, and you'll have about 4 or 5 pound tomatoes. And one tomato, you could probably make about 2 sandwiches out of it. Yeah.
That's like I said, I'm on the. I got one more slice in there, so that'll be 5 good slices out of that tomato.
How thick are you cutting them?
Oh, thick.
What, quarter, half inch?
The last one was a little bit more. It was almost an inch.
Damn.
Holy cow, that's some thick slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Thick like cold peanut butter.
And it's not the little bread. It's the bigger loaf bread that's like the 12 grain bread.
You count the grains in your bread?
No, it's 12 grain. You have 12 different grains in the bread.
All right,
It's
I get you.
the healthy stuff.
Right. I
Brooke,
love that.
have you ever
say
been
healthy.
to the Apple Fest?
Man,
Oh
what's-
my God.
you know what's good that comes from apples? Apple cider. Apple cider and apple cider donuts. OMG.
And hard apple cider.
Man,
The harder the better.
Apple
we
jack.
have
Yeah, that'll work.
30 miles north of us. There's an apple cider mill up here, and oh my, dude, fresh the donuts when they're fresh, and the cider. Oh man, I haven't had them
You
in a
can
while.
keep the donuts. Give me the cider.
I know what kind of hard cider you're talking about, like the apple pie cider. Huh.
No.
I didn't like the apple pie moonshine. It's no. It didn't
Now.
taste right.
You give me blackberry or you give me peach, and I love the peach. Don't get me wrong. You know,
Now,
yeah.
now,
Well,
Dad told me.
Go ahead.
Dad told me like when they used to make some peach brandy in an old
Mhm.
wooden drum. Put some sugar in it, and come in there every so often, skim off the top, the stuff, the junk, and it would just and I was like, really? He goes, oh yeah, it was good. I'm like,
Well, now, do you know how to tell the difference between moonshine, peach brandy, and store-bought peach brandy?
Yeah.
I mean, I figured you would, Bushcraft.
Yeah, my grandpa made this stuff in the shanty. Well, it's like a little house. That's
All
what
right.
he thought. It was a shanty.
Okay. Have you seen programs on TV to where if they say it's moonshine, they'll shake it up? What they're looking for
The
is
bubbles.
like little bubbles.
when
Okay.
you hold it up to the light, it's supposed to shimmer like diamonds.
Right. Well, if you shake it real good, you got bubbles that come up.
Yeah,
That's moonshine. You go to a liquor store and you grab a bottle and shake it up,
It
you
won't.
won't have none.
Yeah, they water that stuff down.
yeah.
Big time.
Well, they have to. They can't. I don't think they can. They're allowed to sell it anything over 100 proof. You know what I'm saying? They have to take it down to 60 or 80 proof or something, even more than that, maybe, to be safe.
You can buy over 100 proof.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I know
our liquor
Everclear.
stores down here sells moonshine.
Right.
It ain't
I
good.
understand that, but there's something about, I don't know,
Yeah,
the-
it ain't as good as
Right. the real stuff.
right.
Apple trees and stuff. I'm not sure about apple trees and stuff. I'm more in the ground kind of gardener.
Lace Brooke, excuse me, I'm sorry. The way I get paid is at the beginning of the month. I don't know if I'm going to have the money to go, but Lord God, I'd love to go to the Apple Fest. You talking about some good apples there.
Apple fritters.
Anything apples is like a street thing. Okay, I don't know how long the street is. I've not been to that one particular Apple Fest, but up there at home, you're talking the whole damn town, one street shut down for it. you're buying apples, I mean, coming out of Washington or wherever.
Lisa, I know there used to be one place that I picked apples, and I don't know what was in it, but the guy had hung up socks, and there was some kind of contraption inside the socks, and he didn't have any bugs or anything in them trees. And I know
Really?
that them caterpillars, when they start nesting, and all the webs and stuff that they put out, they can demolish a tree. And the little white butterflies, oh, I hate them things.
What life? The best moonshine I've ever had in my life is sugarcane moonshine. You could put that in your mouth and it not burn one bit. It went down like warm water. But you better be sitting down because it's going to kick your tail. A double shot, you're not walking.
So
Yep.
instead of regular sugar that they use to break down break down the mash, right? They use, or am I allowed to say
Sugar cane.
that up on here? Yeah, they use sugar cane.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They run it through I don't know exactly what it's called, but it gets all the juice out of it.
Yeah.
And then they'll take it and make liquor out of it.
When I was down in Tennessee, was doing some work. I went with a friend, and we were he was helping another friend, and we were out there splitting wood, and I asked if I could get some water, and he said, "Yeah, it's in there in the fridge," and he had a water pitcher. I thought, yeah. The old Kool-Aid water pitcher is plastic and everything. Got that. I got a drink and started down in that thing, and was not expecting that at all.
I think you did.
Kind of ended up like Barney Fife on that one where he was taking the ladle out of the water bucket, and sooner or later he was slockered.
Yeah. Yeah. I started headed outside, and they were both out there cracking up laughing. And he said, "You got the wrong picture, didn't you?" Bigfoot, I'm like you. I got a texture thing when it comes to raw tomatoes, and I can only do like cooked tomatoes, stewed tomatoes. I can't do the raw ones.
You can peel them, and they still taste good.
I still remember the smell of the stewed tomatoes from back when we used to can them back in the farmhouse.
Yeah,
I'll never forget that smell.
it ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can. This day and time, you can what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember going in the barn and after the onions, because you dried out the onions in the barn, and they'd all be sitting in there. As soon as you open that door, and you go, woof, that onion smell hit you.
Yeah. And
What
the garlic.
like you, a lucky man.
Really?
Yeah, you know who Popcorn Sutton was.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah. There's people out there now who would kill for his recipe.
Oh yeah, there's a lot out there that say they have it too.
Yeah, right. Bubba News. Hello, sir.
They had that on that show.
Yeah.
Which I got a kick out of that show. What?
Well, the funny thing about that show was this right here. It's illegal as hell to make it. Why didn't the sheriffs or whoever watch the show and go after them?
Well, first of all, they weren't making it. They were acting like they're making it because I guarantee you, the first batch of when they bled it off and tested it and whatnot, they drank that, they'd be dead.
Mm-hmm.
You don't drink.
That's guaranteed.
You don't drink the first thing that comes off of there because that's poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they call a blind batch or something like that. It makes you go
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah. And it would too. But you know, if
Yeah, I like it. How they get up there and they get the jar and that tastes good. No,
yeah, from the first batch.
yeah,
I mean, well, I'm not gonna say on here, but I've tasted a few good stuff in my day, and I've tasted some. Some I swore them down with damn kerosene.
oh yeah.
If it'll throw a blue flame, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Dad said in the old Shiner cars when they'd run out of gas, they'd pour some of that in there and run like it's striped
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
That was
Yeah.
what well, I don't know about these new cars, but if I ain't mistaken, if it was 100+ proof, you could run a motor off of it.
Yeah, new cars, you would you'd melt the heads and stuff.
Right.
It-
It's
Pistons,
all aluminum now.
Yeah, because it's real hot. That's why they took. Well, one of the reasons why they took lead out of gas, but
Yeah,
Well, now the runners would fill their tanks up, and that's how they would make a run. Because when they got to point B, they would drain all of the stuff out of one tank. Because them boys on the car, they had two tanks, one for regular gas and the other for moonshine.
yeah. Grandpa would make it and deliver. I'll just say that much. And about the time I got old enough to know what was going on, he didn't do it anymore. He made it, but it was just for him
Well,
and cleaning motor parts.
mhm. I'll put it to you like this. I took down right many corn stalks in my day, early days.
You still there, Joe?
Yeah.
See what lights comment.
Oh, I was waiting for the rest of the story.
No, that was it. I
Oh.
mean, I'm not going to say much on that.
Okay. Well, it seemed like there was more coming.
Oh, there. I'm sorry for leaving y'all in suspense, but yeah, I did take out right many cornfields back in the day.
Yeah, my grandpa, he still had the car, and he'd get pulled over quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's after he stopped delivering, and
Mhm.
I'm sure everybody knows what I mean by delivering.
Huh.
And he would show me how fast that car would go, and there's this one section of road, and where he lived was way out, far from anybody, and there's this one road, and it was called Dead Man's Corner, and he said, "Watch how fast I can take this corner," and he would floor it and go, and that thing would spin the wheels all the way around that corner. Not, I don't
Good.
have no idea how fast he went because the speedometer didn't go that high, and it wasn't
Good
a regular
evening.
car. It wasn't a regular
Good
run of the
evening,
mill car.
Googles. I hope you having a good evening.
He had
Well,
big old truck springs on the bottom of that thing.
yes, sir. Well, now my uncle done his deliveries in a '67 Ford truck, and I tried to buy it, and my daddy wouldn't let me. And he told me why on the way home. Well, quite a few years later, a friend I know had one identical to it. I got to looking through it and everything, and come to find out that was my uncle's truck that I wanted to buy. It had the 360 in it. And when I got it, I wanted to see what it could do. A friend of mine at the time was with me. And he asked me, he said, "What will this truck do?" And I said, "I don't know." So I put it down in low. I popped the clutch and I nailed the hell out of it. Well, at that time, it had rained. The roads was a little bit wet. I done a donut right there in the up underneath the stoplight. I looked up and there was a highway patrolman looking dead at me, and I went, "Oh hell no!" He shook his finger at me. I told the boy, I said, "We ain't gonna find out today." He laughed. I got out that ticket. But
Lucky.
very lucky. But I will tell you this: it had 120. He had the whole dash redone. A friend of mine did. He had 120 on the speedometer, and it wouldn't take long to reach it. It took a sheriff 2 miles to catch up with me one day. And when he finally pulled me, he said, "You know why I pulled you?" I said, "Spinning wheels?" He said, "Nope." I said, "Doing U-turns?" He said, "Nope." And I said, "Before I tell on myself, how about you telling me?" He said, "Your tag's been expired for 8 months."
Yeah, I had a 73 Monte Carlo. It had a 350 Corvette motor in there, and the 68, the good one. And I had a souped up blower and everything on that. I was going, it was in Tucson. I was going down the highway, and I seen him. And I knew at that time I done had it, so I had to. By the time I pulled over, I had to sit there and wait for him. And he came up and said, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "I'm kind of guess." And he said, "Well, I don't know how fast you was because it broke my gun."
Damn.
So I'll give you a ticket for the minimum.
Well, I had one cop who pulled me for speeding. He asked me, he said, "You know why I pulled you?" I said, "Because I was knowing when you can catch." I got that ticket.
Yeah, I could have easily just kept on going, and he would never caught up to me at all. Which really screwed me over because the ticket was something and some change.
Damn.
But they didn't put the change on my ticket whenever I went in to pay for it. So it was like 6-8 months down the road, I got pulled over again in Phoenix, and all of a sudden, all these cop cars started surrounding my car. I'm like, "Oh shit, this isn't good." And he came up and said, "There's a warrant out for your arrest." And I'm saying, because I told him, I said, because my name and my dad's name were the same.
Oh,
And I said, make sure you're not. It's not my dad, because he had a lot of warrants and stuff. And he said, it's your social security number and everything. And I said, well, what's it from? And he said, you didn't pay a speeding ticket in Tucson. And I'm like, I paid it. I said it was a lot of money, because it was like $280 back in the 80s. So it was
Yeah.
a lot. He said, well, it shows it hasn't been paid. And then he said, hold on a minute. And he was really, really, real nice guy and everything. And he went and checked it out, and he says, you owe 62 cents. And they issued you a warrant for your arrest for 62 cents. I said, yeah, are you serious? He says, yeah, and I have to take you in, but I'll do you a favor. I said, we'll go down, and I'll walk you through, and you pay the 62 cents, and then you can be released. And I'm like, 62 cents? I said, I'll give you the 62 cents. He said, don't say that, because you can't pay them.
Yeah.
And he was nice enough, and I had parked my car in the parking lot, and he took me downtown, which anybody that lives in Phoenix, that's a very bad place. And I was in holding for maybe 10 minutes, and he come got me and took me down. He says, pay the lady, and 62 cents. And he drove me all the way back to my car, even, which he wasn't allowed to do. And I said,
Wow.
now them were the good old
it could have been a
days.
lot worse, because it was the weekend and everything. But for 62 cents, I had a warrant out for my arrest.
Now, I had a Crown Vic a while back ago. A friend of mine worked for the sheriff's department. And I called him up, and I said, look, I'm going to see how fast my car goes. And he laughed. He said, you serious? I said, I'm dead serious. He clocked me in that, and it was a 4-something, 4.7, whatever.
4.6.
Yeah. He clocked me at 141 miles an hour.
With the police interceptor in it.
Nope.
What?
Yep. There was no interceptor in it whatsoever. He told me, he said, if a highway patrol comes up, I'm going to have to fall in. And I said, I understand. So in other words, going that fast, if a cop got in behind me with lights, my ass going to jail. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, legally, well, it depends on the state. Certain speed, if you're going over the speed limit, they have all the right to haul you ass to jail right then and there.
Yeah, and take your license away from you on the spot.
In the state of Missouri,
yeah,
anything over 120 is vehicle manslaughter. Because my buddy was in a Camaro with a zipped up 327 in it, and this was like an 87 Camaro, but he had this 327 built, and he put it in there, and he was whoa. Got pulled over, he found out, and he goes, anything over 120, because the gun shut off. And yeah.
Well, now, does y'all's interstates on the edge, does it have the rumble strips?
Oh, you mean when you start to go off the side of the road, it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some do.
Yeah. Well, do you know at 120 miles an hour, you'll never hear them?
Oh, yeah, I
know. No, it's like total silence. People used to fall asleep in the work truck, and I used to ride that rumble strip just to wake them up.
Yeah. Yeah, the car I had, it had a, because the speed, it, the speedometer didn't go up as high as the car could go. So
Yeah.
I got a new one that was 225, and I buried the needle in that.
Was that a round speedometer or was that the long one?
It is round. I didn't know there was long ones, but
Yeah.
it was a well. It came with some other stuff too, the oil pressure
Okay.
and temperature, because uh, you needed it for that motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted
Well,
to
now,
know the actual temperature and stuff, not the stupid dummy lights.
I have broke a few speedometers.
Oh
In
yeah.
my, I mean, you get them going that fast, it ain't nothing to break them.
And then you hear that.
Yeah, but after about two or three of them, you know what they are, and it don't phase you no more.
Yeah. And that's before all that stupid cruise control and all that crap. Because it goes through the cruise control and then
So my brother had a 350. It was a 355. It had the original.
Buick motor.
No, it was regular Chevy small block, but he had the original 19. I think it was 1971 LT1 heads on it.
Okay.
He originally had the 3-deuce setup on it, and that 3-deuce setup cost him some money. But when him and his buddy that helped him put it in there, shoehorned it in, when they first got in there and they stomped to the floor, it broke the seat back brackets. Right. So
I've done that in the Intrepid.
So he kept trying, putting miles on it, trying to break it in and everything else. He ended up swapping out for regular intake and we had a regular 4-barrel carburetor on it. We would take that thing to work. So the next town down south is about 30 miles south of us. So I was like, let me drive. I was like, we're going to be late. Speed limit was only 65 at that time. So I was running right when I hit Fort Scott city limit. I seen the cop sitting. I mean, oh man, it was bad timing. He was sitting right in the middle of the median. I saw him. I let off. I went 1, 2 stoplights before he finally caught up to us. Because I'd already let off the gas. I didn't hit the brakes. I just let it coast. He caught up to us, and I finally pulled over. He goes, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I was like, "Nope." He goes, "What do you mean, nope?" I was like, "Speedometer don't work. All we got is just an RPM gauge in that." We had to tack because off of that transmission, it was a 700 R4. The transmission, the Speedo cable, we didn't have it. There was no telling, so you had to just go by the guesstimating. Yeah, that was a $76 ticket.
I worked in Kinston. I know.
He goes,
I'm sorry.
He goes, when I clocked you, he goes, you was doing about 85. Whoops.
Damn.
And I'd already let off though before that, because right when I seen him hit these lights, I'm
yeah, I had not too long ago, I bought it was probably in the 70s, early 70s. I can't remember what it was, but it was a old Oldsmobile, a big old boat, and a 455 in it.
Did it have the rocket?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that thing was. And I bought it for $80. Had the back end was smashed up a bit, and the doors didn't work on the passenger side. And I turned around and resold it because they just wanted a motor. I got $1,100 for that thing.
Yeah, because it had the rocket. There is not that many rockets out there. I think it was the 350 and the 455 were the only two.
That thing was huge. And you'd hit that gas, you wouldn't go anywhere. He stood to sit right there, and all of a sudden, whoo, smoke coming out the back end of that thing.
But I rebuilt a 350 rocket. It comes straight out of Oldsmobile. The boy had it for drag racing, and he put NOS to it, and he didn't put the right pistons in, and it blew it. I think it was the next to the last one. And back then he had the oh God, type of pistons in it. I can't think of it. It was real lightweight. Just one piston was something like $150. I paid it, rebuilt it. It started the whole 9 yards. The boy paid me $2,000 for that motor, and I said, "Take it."
Too much compression.
If the pistons, if you got to have a certain type to run NOS, or you'll burn a hole in them.
Right.
He didn't know that.
Kind of like when you're running a blower, you got to have the disc severely. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I had to change a few things because I didn't know better back then. But I was making good money, so it was no biggie. I would go to oh damn, what the hell's the name? It probably is not there anymore, but it was the high end place. You got the NOS and everything. That was my next thing, but I never got that far. Was putting NOS in there, but I was already going way too fast with a blower on there.
I wasn't too crazy about NOS. I mean, I'm sorry, like a 50, 75 shot. Because when I hit that button, I didn't want to be pinned to the seat. I want to have control.
I never had no buttons. It was you turned the knob and that was it.
No, mine was you turn the knob on, you mash the button, you give it about 3 seconds, and your tail is pinned to the seat for about 3 or 4 more seconds.
But then you had to change your rings.
No, you had to change your underwear. But I think everybody has had them days. And I've always said, I'm going to have one more fast car before I die. But what they coming out with now, the cop picking 4-cylinder will bust the old school 8-cylinder.
I've got one out in my yard there. Honda.
Yeah.
Dang, that thing goes fast. I'm like, what the hell is up in this thing? It's just a little lawnmower in there. Lawnmower motor.
Yeah. I mean, back in our day, you never would have heard of a small block engine putting out over, 800 horsepower. Now they've got 4 and 6 cylinders that's not hopped up that's putting that much out.
Well, they got the turbos on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Dual turbos. And
you have to be careful too.
Yeah.
With those turbos.
Oh yeah.
They go bang.
Oh yeah. You're running too much boost. It will go bang. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That means you better know what you're doing or know somebody who knows what they're doing. That's a lot of money just to piss in the wind, should I say.
I had a 66 Chevy flatbed. It came with a worn out 283. So I took it out. I mean, I could have it floored and it wouldn't hardly get up to 55, right? So I drove it until it was like the cam was real flat. I was like, whoever done this, they tightened it. I mean, there's that much stud above on the rocker. I'm like, what the? They tightened these down too much. So I freshened it up. My buddy, he had all the machinery to do it and everything. I put 305 heads on it. It would never been bored out. It was original
Really?
1967 block. Last year they made the 283 block. So I had it fresh bored out to 40 over. Went regular cast connecting rods and pistons, and the rings. Went stock on that. Put 305 heads on it, and a good YN stealth intake, because it was from idle to $7,000 on the RPM range on that, right? And the 283s are just now starting to hit around $7,000. The power band on them. I had a nice little cam in it. It's just a little bit too much cam, not way above, but just a little bit too much. And I put a HEI supercoil on it. This thing wasn't even broke in, and it was hitting $7.5, $8,000. I'm like, oh, this little mouse has an attitude.
That's the ones you like, ones with an attitude.
Yeah, Shift Kicker, I know how those Ninjas are. Oh man, those things. When they first came out, I know a girl that it was bright pink, and she had NOS on that thing, and I was barely hanging on the back end of that thing when she took off on it.
My brother bought one when he was in the Navy, and he sold it to my son. And I told my son, if you ever get rid of it, I want it. He wouldn't sell it to me. He said I'd kill myself on it. And the boy he sold it to, 10 minutes after he bought it, he totaled it. Put himself in the hospital for about a month or so.
Yeah, I was on just a regular 500, and I was over. You get that power band on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got to hold on to that thing when you pop. Oh, and
Did yours?
Well over 200 miles on that thing. And it wasn't my bike. It was my uncle bought it and was gonna fix it up and whatnot, and he's seen some guy going down the road. He's, who's that crazy ass driving down that road? And somebody that was with him said it was me, and he's, oh hell no, and he sold it the next day.
Hello, Crazy.
Hey, Crazy.
Hey, Crazy.
Well, we've gone over a little bit, but a couple of minutes. You know how that is.
Bigfoot live tonight?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Oh,
I haven't even been on YouTube today, so I don't know. Let me go check real quick.
What you got?
I think Lake said that if I remember right from this morning, he said he was going to be on call. Shift Kicker, can you? Shift Kicker would be able to help. Yeah, she said he was going to plan on it, but if something about maybe possibly being on call. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, 8:00 today.
Okay.
He's got it set up for 8.
Yeah. It was
so about like 40 more minutes. Well, I'm going to do a couple of shout outs here. One of them is Mountain Grandma. If y'all get a chance, please go to her channel and hit like, subscribe. She is a good lady. And the other one would be Crazy Irish. She's on in the morning times mainly, along with Trusting God First.
Bigfoot's live now.
And Bushcraft Family. Hey, I heard that was a pretty good guy to go watch.
Yeah. I think I might be sub to him.
Mikey likes him.
Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow, 7:00.
That's right.
Well, go ahead. Sends me his email.
Well, go ahead and plug your own channel.
Oh yeah, tomorrow I got the giveaway going on.
Yeah.
If everything goes, I'm going to do a survey right quick. Do y'all want me to do a show on Canon? If so, please put one in chat right quick. Because I just talked to a lady today that she said she would. I just wanted one, Monty. But this lady right here, she is real good in Canon. She is well known throughout the community. I'm not going to say her name right yet because I want to get a definite yes. But like I said, she did tell me that she would. So I want to talk to her.
Yep, I got a guest next Wednesday. Well, I've already posted it, so it's not a secret anymore.
Well, I'm not going to try to run. How do you put that? I'm not going to do one with you doing one or.
Well, mine's Wednesday, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to figure out a day that I want to do this on. That would also be good for her too.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to overrun nobody or walk over top of nobody. Okay. So y'all let me get up with this lady next week. And hopefully Thursday, I will let y'all know what day. So.
Well, you always have it Thursday, and I'll be in chat and whatnot.
Hello, Miss Make It Make. Welcome to the room. I hope you are having a good day.
Hello.
But like I said, right now, I just want to get a definite yay or nay, and I will let y'all know something Thursday.
Yeah, there you go. That's your.
No, we're not going to do Cucamelon candy.
Cucamelon. Oh yeah, Cucamelon.
If anything, I will make my jelly ballistic jam. You didn't know I
think that's
done
what I'll
that,
be
Mark?
doing tomorrow.
I done some jalapeno jam, and I put way too much pectin in there. And I even took a fork and a hammer, tried to dig some out, and it about the thickness of a piece of paper is how deep it went.
Well, okay, so you was talking about jalapeno jelly. So my good fishing buddy. Okay, so he loves jalapeno jelly. He even likes a little bit of habanero. So he bought this habanero jelly, and it was in one of those little. I don't even know what you want to size you want. Just little ones, little jars.
Yeah.
He made me and him some breakfast. He put it out on some toast, and I'm like, putting quite a bit of that on there. First 2 bites in it, he was sweating bullets. He goes, I think I messed up. And so he ended up finishing that slice of toast and maybe a half a piece of the other, fed the other to his dog, and he emptied out that jelly into the trash.
Wow.
That's way too hot.
What
was it?
Habanero. That's all I know. He did. Huh. He had sweat pouring down off his forehead. I'm like, a little bit spicy. Got a kick.
I have not tried the cowboy candy.
That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm not
Yeah.
going to film it or anything because I
What's
don't
cowboy-
want all the people telling me how I did it wrong and
What's
you're
cowboy
supposed to
candy?
do it a certain
Well,
way.
you don't know what cowboy candy is.
I didn't know what hoe cakes was either until
Boy, you sure ain't from the country, are you?
Oh,
know,
now
you-
listen here. I've had Johnny cakes. I've had corn pone, sweet corn pone.
Well, let me rephrase it. You sure ain't from the South.
You know what shit on a shingle is, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
SOS. That's pretty good too. Homemade. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I've gone over about close to a
Tomato
half hour.
jelly or
What?
tomato gravy.
I've never had tomato gravy, but I've heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
You're in the
And
South and you haven't had tomato gravy?
I've never had tomato. I've never even had a tomato pie.
Yeah, I've heard of chocolate gravy, but never tomato gravy.
Yeah.
Chocolate gravy's pretty good.
Who out there had some good old tomato gravy?
Y'all
Put a
still never have
Lily
told
in chat.
Y'all still never told me what cowboy candy is.
It's. I'll let you explain that one. I do know it's got something to do with jalapenos.
Yeah, that's the best pepper to use for it. It's
Yeah.
pretty much it's not it's more chunky than just hot pepper jam or
Jeff Riddle in the chat.
Oh, okay.
it's on a chunky side basically.
Right.
It's like pickle.
Kind of like almost like cinnamon rings, not the candy, the actual,
Right.
yeah, pickled cinnamon rings. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, I get it. I got it.
But you see, the bad thing about it is my stomach will not let me do real spicy foods like I used to.
Well, yeah.
I reckon that's one of the downfalls.
Somebody's had tomato gravy.
Don't like. Now I've heard of it. Matter of fact, I think I got a recipe for it, but I've never had it.
I mean, you can use just a can of tomatoes.
Really?
Stewed tomatoes. Yeah, just make
Okay.
gravy like normal. It's good with. Best thing to start with is bacon grease and a little bit of bacon with it.
I bet it goes good with hoe cake too, don't it?
Put your flour in there. You know, the same way you make
Regular
gravy. And you
gravy.
just pour the tomatoes in there.
I'm gonna have to try it. I really am now.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Or cat head biscuits.
Mm.
It's just hoe cake ain't nothing but just one huge cat head biscuit flattened out. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of chat, I am glad y'all stopped in today. And on that note, I'm going to cut it. Y'all have a good day. And remember to go to Bigfoot's channel tonight at 8 o'clock.
Dig deeper ministry.
Yeah, him too. All right, out.
Out.